Info.
Hey, good morning or good afternoon, Facebook, depending on where you're at in the world. We are at the Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And it's the tail end of our rainy season, and we're a little bit overcast today, but it's a beautiful day. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that over 17,000 people have gone to. It's unlike any other place in the world. So what's so unique about it? Well, 98.85% of guests who check out say that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay at Rythmia. Better yet, at the 6-month mark, 90.22% say that this was the week that changed their life. A lot of people talk about our board of directors, and the fact that this is our board of directors is a miracle. Guess who? Martin Luther King's son, Martin. Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles, California, co-author of The Secret. Tony Coe, the founder of NYX Cosmetics. Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time. Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, 20 years on TV in the United States. Ron White, the comedian. And Earl Koski, the businessman, and more. Why did they come to Rythmia, and why are they allowing us to use their names and actually sit on our board of directors? Because it works. The Rythmia program, is unlike any other program in the world, and it works. Well, what is it? It's a 1-week program that involves ayahuasca, metaphysical teachings. Michael Bernard Beckwith designed the metaphysical teaching programs at Rythmia. Farm-to-table food, yoga, meditation, breath work, the Dead Sea Cleanse, and 4 nights of ayahuasca, 2 nights of breath work. It's the most amazing program that you'll ever see. And it's a real life changer. It's a life changer. How do we know? Go to TripAdvisor, over 2,500 reviews, about 99% are 5-star. It's crazy the amount and type of reviews that we have. What is this little thing? So I do these in series of 10s. This is called post-merger action items. Why? Because usually what happens at Rythmia is something called a soul merger or a soul reclamation. Once this happens, the overwhelming vast majority of people decide that they want to be a beneficial presence on the planet. And becoming a beneficial presence on the planet is its own ceremony. Why? Because once we commit to becoming a beneficial presence on the planet, it's a ceremony unto itself. It's going to take longer than anything you've ever dreamed of. It's going to be the hardest work you'll ever do, and it will bear more fruit than your wildest imagination. And that is the truth. Becoming a beneficial presence is the to be here. It's the reason to come to Rythmia. It's the reason to have a soul merger. Now, what is it in becoming a beneficial presence? What is it like? What does it feel like? Well, once you have clarity around how you're to become a beneficial presence on the planet, then you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to commit and agree to do a couple of things. And we want to make sure that the folks at Facebook don't think we're talking about you giving money to us, because we're not. But you want to talk about a couple of different things. Number one, you want to write the way in which you're going to be doing it down. You want to have a written down goal, and I'm going to go back to that in a couple minutes of what it is the finished product is going to look like. You want to set up a routine. Number one, you want to make a couple of non-cancelable promises to yourself. you want to come up with a daily practice, whether that's breath work, meditation, prayer, spiritual mind treatments, whatever type of daily practice, yoga that you want to come up with, you want to do, and you want to make that non-cancelable. You also want some type of physical activity, whether it's walking or some treadmill or something, some physical, because what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to commit my spirit to becoming this beneficial presence on the planet, and I'm going to need to have a clean body in order to be able to do it. I'm going to need to have a strong body to do it. So that's the next thing. The third thing you want to agree to is to tithe out of your abundance. And I talked about that before. You want to tithe out of your abundance and write an agreement over it that I'm actually going to tithe, not to Rythmia, not to us, but to something that moves you, whether that's the Red Cross or a neighbor who you see in need, whatever it is, to come up with that, not out of your paycheck, but out of the abundance of you becoming this beneficial presence on the planet. Those are all super key items in order to get where you have to go, because it's going to be a super long trip. It's going to be really hard, and you're going to be faced with a ton of opportunities to quit. And we always say, do not quit. It's a mantra within the community that is becoming a beneficial presence, to not quit. Why write this stuff down? Well, in a 1979 study, a study that's been going on in 1979 from Harvard, 1,000 people surveyed, 83 had no specific goals. 14% had specific goals but didn't write them down. 3% had very specific goals written down. Now, this is 1979. 10 years later, they looked at those people. The 14% with specific goals that weren't written down, on average, earned 300% more than those without any goals. 300%, 1,000 people. And the 3% that had specific written goals were earning 1,000% more than those 83%. So writing it down, there is no conjecture. The study's been done and the votes are in. It's over. Write it down. It's the most important thing. The second most important thing is not to create a half effort. So if you can realize this and think of it this way, you're going to go after, so you've had this merger, you've been to Rythmia or a place like it, and you've had this soul merger, you're crystal clear, you understand how you're going to become a beneficial presence on the planet. You've agreed to do all of these things I said, okay, I'm going to pray daily. I'm going to walk for a half hour daily. I'm going to watch my diet. I'm going to agree to tithing out of my abundance and all that. And now it comes down to the effort that I want to expel to get that. If you are not both feet in, meaning this thing, this way of becoming a beneficial presence, has to be the biggest thing in your life in order to make it there. Because think of it like this. Think of it like shooting a basketball from a free throw. A 98% effort. 98%. So imagine that you're 15 foot away from the basket and you throw a 90, or imagine you're 10 feet away from the basket and you throw a 9.8 foot shot at it. You'll never, ever, ever get it there. A lot of people believe, well, a half effort will bring me a half result. And it does not work that way. The difference between that last bit of effort, and you can see it in life. You can see it in people. You can see it in basketball players. You see the difference between your run-of-the-mill basketball player and a Steph Curry. you're a run-of-the-mill basketball player and a Michael Jordan. You can see the difference. You're a run-of-the-mill golfer and a Rory or a Tiger. You can see it. It's all over the place. Half efforts do not create half results. Being that last little bit better is where all of the juice is. It's where all of it is. So when you're thinking about it, know that you can pick the way you want to do it. You can go sit on a couch, do a half effort, or really go for it. And these two will produce the same result. There's only one different result, and it's out here. That's where that different result is. So if you want that result and you agree to do it, expect these things. It's going to be harder than anything you've ever done. It's going to take longer than you could ever imagine, and it's going to bear fruit beyond your wildest dreams. Those are truths. They're absolute truths. So if you want to participate in this kind of thing, get to Rythmia or a place like it that constructs a soul merger for you. And that our whole program is about having that soul merger. Then when you're done with it, agree to these things. Something for my spirit, something for my body, right? Tithing out of my surplus, and then you're on your way. And then decide if you want to give 0 effort, 50% effort, or 100% effort. And if you want to give 50%, take it back to 0 and do nothing. Because the thing that people get most upset at is they keep making a half effort for 0 results, and they get mad because in their mind, it should create a half result. But the universe doesn't work that way. It usually creates no result or a worse than 0 result, which it can do. It can leave you broken and bankrupt and all kinds of other problems that leak in. So those are my thoughts for the day. And I want to leave you with that. And then we'll talk to you next week. Until then, God keep you, God bless you, God hold you. We hope that you have an incredible week and get to Rythmia. And by the way, I have 2 books out there. One of them is Stuff the Moon Said, and one of them is Truthonomics. And both of them are on Amazon. Please pick them up, and we'll see you at Rythmia.